Hello, I'm going to show you an interview with a few clips of Zach Bush. He talks about how pandemics can happen. It may be that a pandemic can be prevented if we detox and clean the soil, water, and air.
My guest today is Dr. Zach Bush, the American physician and educator who specializes in the symbiotic relationship between human and environmental health. In 2019, you correctly predicted that Hubei in central China would be the origin of the next global pandemic due to its high levels of toxic pollution. I predict COVID-19 will clear naturally by the summer of 2021. When you started talking about the fact that it was the pollution that caused, I guess, the virus spreading, and maybe you can tell me more specifically about what you mean by that. I mean, how do people react? Because that's not the narrative that we're being told. Well, first of all, what did people say initially? And second of all, have people started to come around and started to listen to more of your ideas?
Yeah, and I want to be clear that these aren't like just my ideas. I'm not just some, self-proclaimed clever person. Like I've got a whole, backing of scientists and, physicians and everything else that have been working around me for years. And we are just one of many groups around the world that are really working to understand the role of soil, water, and air systems in human biology. We happen to be focused on the microbiome, which is the bacteria and the fungi and all of these organisms. And when we started this, mission 10 years ago, it was crickets. I actually was still at the University of Virginia at the time, and I did one big, keynote talk there that had the word healing in it, and nobody showed up. And, it's like, but the following month, I did one called Cancer, and it was packed. And so the mentality of the science community, including myself at that time, was that we are here to stamp out disease. But the idea of health and healing is remote and feels new agey or somehow like, fake science. And so that's an extraordinary mistake we made in medical education over the last 100 years, was to forget the opportunity to create such resilient health that we would be resistant to disease. Instead, we focused all of our trillions of dollars of research and development and trillions of hours of manpower, research and ingenuity and intuition on disease management instead of health. And so the result is what you see around you. And so the reason the dialogue looks like it is in the government and the WHO and the CDC and the UK system there, you guys are part of this big machine of fear that we created as physicians as well. And so as physicians and scientists, we have created the fight against cancer and the fear of bacterial infections, the fear of viral infections, when in fact, none of that's really underpinned by the current science. Science has radically changed in the last 20 years, and it hasn't trickled down into the mindset of the physicians, the scientists, and especially the clinicians yet. And so generally, we expect that to take 20 to 30 years to make a transition. But this has been such a radical shift that's come through our understanding of genomics and our ability to look at genomic sequencing of nature, that we're starting to realize we were wrong. We're not at the center of the earth. And this is very much akin to that moment when in the 1600s, the telescope would prove that we were not at the center of the universe. We thought in 1605, we thought the earth was flat and, sat in the middle of the universe, and it kind of came around us. And back in the Greek, Pythagoras, there was a theory that it was a round planet, but it was still a theory 2,000 years ago. And by 1600 years later, it hadn't really changed. There were still a lot of people that saw it as a flat earth, and today we still have flat earth society. And so there's this very slow adoption of understanding as science makes a paradigm leap as big as saying, we're not the center of the universe. The solar system is actually rotating around the sun, not us. It's the same way it's going to potentially take hundreds of years for us to adopt the realization in our technologies, in our medicine, in our energy systems, transportation, education, that we are not at the center of biology. We are the result of biology. We are actually like this distant, long-laid sequelae or symptom of biology on Earth. The intelligence that we see the human capacity reaching is the result of billions of years of biologic progress. And that biologic progress has been accelerated, in fact, by biologic collapse. And that's why Hubei was such a predictable incident. in that when you see extinction level stress, and to find that, you want to find disruption of soil, water, and air. Disrupt soil, water, and air systems, you're now pushing the extinction event fast. And nowhere do we have that happening in the world faster than Central China. And so Central China has managed to adopt Western farming practices that has accelerated the death of soil there worse than anywhere else. And then Beijing and all of its energy and transportation has pushed an enormous amount of air pollution down into Hubei. And so you have this perfect toxic stew of dead and dying soils, the largest pork antibiotic production system in the world, coupled with this air pollution. And so you're killing soil, water, and air in a single place. And when you do that, the response is adaptation. And biology goes into an explosive effort to find loopholes, to find alternative biologic pathways to avoid the toxicity, to try not to go extinct. And so in an extinction event, you're going to see an explosion of genetic intelligence. You're going to see variants coming out of all niches of biology to create adaptation for resilient recovery from an extinction event. And that's what we've seen. 5 big extinction events on the planet in the past, and every time they happen, we come back as a planet more diverse, more biologically intelligent, because of the viral explosion of intelligence that happens around us in an extinction event. And so this coronavirus and any naturally occurring virus is actually an adaptation event towards the next opportunity for explosion of life on Earth. And because we're only halfway through this extinction event, I'm excited to imagine that we could stop our behavior, realign, and witness an explosion of biologic diversity, biologic resilience on this planet that's never been witnessed in 4 billion years.
You can watch the whole interview by clicking on the link in the description below. If you like this video and would like me to create other similar videos, then please let me know in the comments below. And also let me know your thoughts on the topic in the comments. Please share this video with others and subscribe to the channel to support it. Thank you and bye for now.